Go ahead and jump to your steps directory inside of your persons module and open up step 2, which is called adding and editing user page. Go ahead and copy the entire code and paste it over the current code in your persons.module file. We've added 2 functions to this file. The first is persons user view, which is an implementation of hook user view. And this allows us to manipulate the build array or the render array that gets passed to the user page, and we can add data to it or manipulate data there. And then we've also implemented a function called persons user view alter. And this allows us to take one more step to edit that render array after all of the modules have had their hook user view function called. So this is once everybody's contributed their items, this is the final call to all modules to adjust that render array in some way. If you're not sure what a render array is, go ahead and watch the videos on the menu system where we talk about that in detail. But basically, it's an array of data that will get rendered into HTML. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is check to make sure that this user has selected to have their search history viewable on their user page. So we're checking this account data. Now notice that the hook user view takes the account as the first parameter, and we're grabbing the data from it. So this is the data property, which is the data column inside of the user table that we were just looking at, and we're looking at search history. And if this is an array, which means we're actually storing some search history, we're going to loop through that array and pull it out as a variable called value. And we're going to add this as a link to the search page. And the way the search page works is it's a path of search/node/ and then the search phrase. And we're going to convert that into a link so that the user can just click on that search and conduct that search automatically. And we're adding this to an items array. The reason we're adding it to the items array is that we're going to use that to theme as an item list using the core function theme item list. And all we need to do is grab the items that we want in the list as an array. If there's more than 0 items, then we're going to go ahead and add an item to the account content variable. Now, this account content variable is the render array that will get rendered as the user page. And we're adding a new item to it. And we're giving it a theme of item list. So this will call theme item list and pass it all of the variables that we assign to it. We're giving it items of items that we built up here. We're giving it a title, which will add a heading 3 tag, which will allow it to mesh very naturally with the user page. And we're giving it a heavy weight of 10 so that it drops to the bottom regardless of what's on the page. Okay, so this will display our search history as a list. The other thing that we're doing here is we're altering that build array during the user view alter phase, where all of the modules have already added what they need to that build array. And what we're doing, just to demonstrate how this works, is we're adjusting this build array, and we're setting the title for the member section to really special person for. If we jump back to the browser, we'll see right now that it says member for. So this text will change slightly. To watch how this works, let's go ahead and set a breakpoint in our view alter function so that we can take a look at the render array before it gets processed as HTML. Now, we talk about breakpoints and debugging in other videos, but the basic idea is that we're stopping here during the script execution process, and we can take a look at any variables that are inside of this function before the script continues to process. We could also use a PHP function called var_dump or a Drupal module called the vel, which contains several utility functions that allow us to generate a list of variables or a list of functions that have been called up to this point as a nice visual array. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump back to the browser, and we're going to start a debugging session. And we're going to go ahead and clear our caches, which is required for the hook user view function. Okay, I'm going to jump back to the editor, and here we've stopped at this point, and now we can take a look at the build variable down here. I'm going to go ahead and expand it. And you see we have a list of properties and content. The properties start with the hashtag, and the content doesn't. So we see we've added a new item here, search history, through our hook user view. And if we expand this, we'll see our item list that we added. Now, this summary section here that we're modifying, we can take a look at by expanding summary. And we're changing member for, and then the title property of member for. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. Member for, and then title, which says member for right here. So we're changing this text to our new text here. Okay, let's go ahead and end this breakpoint. And let's jump back to our browser and take a look. So here you see our new text, really special person for 4 weeks, 1 hour. All right, great.